Folks are still coming in. Here we go. Okay. Did all of you get my PowerPoint? Yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I want to talk a little bit about your media analysis papers. Remember, you need to share with your piece of media with me. Okay, you need to share your piece of media with me and then your paper. So I need to make sure I'm seeing your whatever ad, cartoon, video, whatever you're using to analyze, I need to get that as well as your rough draft. So let's talk about rough drafts. You need to let me know where you think you're struggling at this paper. Is it your thesis? Is it supporting evidence? What is it that you're struggling? Because I'm not going to read all of your papers. I want you to tell me where you think you need help. What do you think you need help with? And we'll go from there, okay? Because I'm not going to go through and edit your entire paper. But if you let me know, or if you give me an idea on kind of what you're struggling with, I'll go from there. Does that make sense to everybody? I did the same thing with your academic argument paper too. So whatever you need help from me with, let me know, but I'm not giving full feedback on the entire paper. Okay, so people are still trying to get in my class, so just hang tight. Yeah, okay. This is my favorite part of the semester, where you are figuring out, okay, the last paper is coming. We've got a lot of moving parts with this paper, but you're driving the car. You're choosing your topic that's going to be connected to your potential career, and you're doing a lot of really intense research on what ethical issue might you encounter, and then what kind of argument arises from that. If it's healthcare, if it's education, if it's medicine, if it's law, whatever it is, what kind of career are you going to choose? And your ethical issue is something you are going to have to figure out, not me. I'm not going to give you your topic. I'll be a think partner. I'll help you think through your topic. But that's what part of the next part of our semester is going to be involved with. You and I having conversations if need be, but giving you presentations, giving you PowerPoints, giving you requirements to sort of release you and for you to do the work. That's kind of what the last half of our semester is going to look like. So if you're a student that doesn't do well with structure, you may struggle with this. I'm not going to lead your hand all the way to the finish line. Okay? I'm saying to you now, what is your topic? Where is it going? And what research do you have to support that? Okay? So our PowerPoint today is going to be looking at what is a proposal and what do you have to do to write a proposal. Okay? That's the first step in putting this paper together. A proposal is a 500-word piece of writing that you just tell me, Dr. McDonald, this is where it's going. It can be a brainstorm. It can be however you want it to be, but it's letting me know this is where my paper is going to go. Okay? So I'm going to go through that PowerPoint, I think. Let me get it up. Here we go. Oops. No. Okay. So I'm going to go back from the beginning. I'm going to walk through this again. I don't know who can see me because I can only see one screen. If you have a question, unmute and ask me, and I'll try to address it. But I want to make sure we're understanding the beginning phases of this research and what this is going to look like. Okay. So again, if you have an issue, have a question, we'll go through it together. But I want to get through this PowerPoint. I want to look at your rubric. I want to make sure we're understanding due dates. So we can make sure we do our best here. So what is a proposal and why is it applicable to English 102? That's kind of the two questions I'm going to answer with this presentation. So what you're going to have to do is that middle circle, an annotated bibliography, a literature review, the text, and a conclusion. So everything that you're going to have to really and truly figure out about what your paper is going to be about is all going to be grounded in your annotated bibliography, which you've already done. You've already practiced that. Your literature review, which I will show you how to do, and then the paper itself. Okay? This paper is going to be broken up into sections, and I will talk about that the further we go along. Okay? Your introduction will be a section. Your lit review will be a section. Your argument will be a section, and then your conclusion will be a section. Okay? So I'll talk about that. I'll show you what that looks like, but this is going to be sort of, it's a 3,000 word paper. It's going to ask you to do a lot of lifting and a lot of different pieces of writing here. So I'm going to go through this. I'm probably have to go through this presentation again, which is totally okay. So the proposal and researching, how to complete this task. Have a clear topic. Pose a research question or questions that drive your research. What are you trying to find the answer to? Why is nurse bullying so prevalent in healthcare? It's a question if you're going into nursing. Why is state testing so important in public schools? That's a question that you're trying to find the answer, and your answer turns into your argument. This is where we're layering all of the stuff we've learned this semester, but we're layering it on a topic that you're going to pick or you're going to choose. Make sure you're addressing an ethical issue. We talked about that. Have a clear understanding of resources and how to use them. I will give a presentation next Tuesday, on Thursday, of how to evaluate sources. What does source evaluation look like? Effective research skills, reading abstracts, that's important. But in the end, your proposal gives the audience an adequate introduction to your research. Your proposal is the first thing we're going to work on. The very first thing, 500 words of what is your paper going to be about? Okay. Annotated bibliography, literature reviews, and the conclusion. The annotated bibliography you have already completed, right? You've started that, but it's not on this topic. Your annotated bibliography that you did earlier in the semester was a practice. Now you're going to do the real annotated bibliography with your particular topic, okay? So what we've done that in practice. Lit review you have not done. The paper you're going to write, and also you're going to write the conclusion. But these are the 4 elements that we're going to closely talk about the rest of our semester together. Annotated bibliography is a document that lists your sources. We know that. Lit review is a process that allows the researcher to make formal judgments about the topic and allows the researcher to cite other scholars in the particular field of study. I will show you an example of my lit review that I did when I did my PhD. I'll show you what that lit review looks like. And then the paper is a compilation of the argument and the documentation to justify your stance. That's what the text of your paper is about. Your introduction, your lit review, your paper, your conclusion, in those 4 sections. Okay? For those of you that are very linear, that want to go from point A to point Z, this is perfect for you. But the catch is putting it all together in a systematic way that allows the audience, me, to understand where your argument is going. I have to say, I've read some of your initial drafts of your media analysis. Remember, we're talking about argument the entire semester. It's not an informational piece. You're not informing me about what's happening. You're providing an argument of what's going on in that particular media. Same thing here. And remember what I've said from the beginning, thinking is the most important part before writing. So I'm going to give you think time. I'm going to give you time to make some pretty hard decisions about what topic you're going to choose. Again, I'm not giving you your topic. You're the one that's coming up with that. I'm the one that can help you think through your research questions. Okay? Reflections and how this will help. Again, this is what your conclusion is going to look like. What did I learn? This issue might potentially affect how I look at my future occupation. And then I learned how certain issues could potentially lead to bigger, more controversial issues. So in your reflection or conclusion, you're going to tell me what you learned. Basically your findings. Okay. So again, this is for the rest of our semester. Hold on, someone's texting me. Oh, it's not someone in my class. So your reflection, your conclusion is going to be sort of what you learned. Okay. This is really important. If this has ever been something that's important to you, it's important now. You must take advantage of the time I give you to do your research and your writing. You must do that. Because once you leave this space and place and you go off and do other things, it's hard to come back and get focused. So a lot of our time together is going to be you and I, meaning me and my class, coming together, talking about where you are, doing some check-ins, but you know what you have to bring back for grades. Okay. So I don't think some of you are using your time wisely. And that's based on your writing. If you're rushing your writing, if your writing is being sent to me and it hasn't been read and edited several different times, then don't send it. Remember, everything that you write, you own. So I can't stress this enough about the importance of time. You must be able to make time to do this. So due dates I have here. And again, this is all my syllabus that's been linked for you. I just linked it in this PowerPoint so it'd be easy to share. Final draft of your analysis paper is due Thursday. Proposal is due the next Thursday. Okay. So again, I'm talking about the proposal now. We're going to work on it in class. We're going to do a source evaluation and the lit review all next week. So we're going to start to go really fast because your paper is due in a month. Your 3,000 word paper is due in a month. And you're going to also have to put together a PowerPoint to share with us about what you found. Okay. So we have to get a lot of stuff done, and we can do it. We can do it. My classes do it every semester. But when I tell you that I give you time to work, I give you time to come back with a proposal or with a lit review, that's what I mean. Some of you are having major issues meeting deadlines. If the deadlines aren't met here, you can't move on. You can't come to me and say, oh, by the way, Dr. McDonald, I don't have my proposal. What your lit reviews do. So I don't need your proposal now. I need your proposal before you start reviewing literature for your paper. So I just want to make sure that we're on the same page with what's due and when it's due. So I'm going to go back and we're going to look at the rubric. Again, I never go and say how you're not going to meet your expectations. I go here to what you need to do. This is E5 easy points. You figured out a topic. Another 5 points connects to an ethical issue in your career. Those are easy points right there. Project demonstrates a clear thesis that will allow for research and will allow for a researcher to meet or exceed 3,000 word count. Your proposal is 500 words, which is here. But your proposal is going to lead you into this 3,000 word document. Okay. Again, 25 points, that's easy to earn, but you have to do it. Because now we're sort of at a building block. What you don't turn in going forward is going to impact what's due next. So I've done a lot of talking. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to entertain any questions you have at the moment. Ashley Hoffer.
When we're doing our research, are we allowed to interview people who are currently working in the field?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Interviews
and
are
would
fantastic.
that be I'm sorry?
Interviews are fantastic.
Okay. And would that be part of the annotated bibliography too, or just part of the actual? Okay.
Yeah, it can be part of your annotated bibliography, but remembering your annotated bibliography is one of the first things you're going to turn in and do.
Okay.
You're not going to do that at the end. You're going to give me
Right.
5 sources up front that you know that are going to be good for you. They're going to work for you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Raquel.
I just wanted to make sure that I understood. So we are doing 500 words for the proposal and making a PowerPoint, and then we're doing the 3,000 words for the final paper.
PowerPoint will not be done to the very end.
Okay, thank you.
Brandy.
With the proposal, when we're offering you this proposal, can you just give me like a quick summary of what that actually looks like? Like, is it broken down like a smaller version of the paper, or is it just our ideas and like or an outline type?
It can be whatever you want it to be. The end result of that proposal is when I read it, I need to know what the rest of your paper is going to look like. Hey, I'm passionate about this because this happened to me in my life, and I want to research it. Blah blah blah. It can. I need it in a narrative form. I need 500 words. I don't want it in an outline, but it can encompass anything that's going to help me understand where you're going with your paper. So basically, it's just a 500 word abstract, a 500 word big picture view of what you're going to research. So I'm going to go back to education, because that's what I'm in. If the ethical issue that I am coming up with is bullying programs, I'm going to argue that every elementary school should have anti-bullying prevention programs. That's my argument. Okay. So from that, I'm going to tell my professor, how am I going to get there? I'm going to find resources that deal with this. I'm going to interview people that have experiences. I'm going to lean on personal experiences that I've had. I'm going to put your proposal is just telling me where you're going. It's basically a roadmap, and that roadmap can change. Whatever in your proposal may be totally different than when you finish your paper, because your research questions could change. Your sources could change. So it's basically a brainstorm. It's what it basically is. But you're
Okay, that makes more sense.
500 word, yes. But you're putting it in a 500 word document that you and I can have a conversation about with 2 weeks from now to say, well, Brandy, this is kind of where you said you were going with this topic. Are you still thinking of that?
Okay.
Jade?
Brandy actually asked the question for me, so thank you for clarifying that.
Okay. This is a lot to process, but we're going to do it together. Okay. So here's how we're going to function today. Your proposal, and I've given you the rubric to the proposal in your PowerPoint, so you should have it in your. Someone else have a question? So if someone else has a question, I can't see your name, so just unmute and ask if you have a question. Okay. You have the rubric. You have the deadlines that I've established. What I want to make sure that we're understanding is it's 5:34. I believe that think time is the most important part of this whole process. I've just given you a lot of information. So I'm going to ask you to start doing your think time. You're thinking now. You're thinking about what you're going to write about. You're doing some preliminary research. You're thinking about what your proposal might sound like or look like. And we're going to do that until 6:35. Okay, we're doing that until 6:35. And when we come back at 6:35, I'm going to ask you to unmute and tell me what you're thinking. Where do you think this project is going? What is it going to look like? What is it going to sound like? What support are you going to need? So again, this is what we're working on for the remainder of the semester. And the ball is in your court. The topic is up to you. And it's whatever support you need from me is how that's going to work. You may say, you know what, Dr. McDonald, I don't really need you at all. I got this. I don't need any help. And you know what I'm going to say? Keep it moving. You got 3,000 words to write. You know how it's going to be structured. Go. But I also want to make sure we're understanding the fact that this is sort of a help desk kind of situation. I'm here, I'm in front of the computer, I'm happy to take a phone call, whatever. But again, as I shared in that one slide, you must utilize the time I've given you. Because remember, at the end of the semester, there are no extensions. Grades are due. Okay. 5:36, we'll come back at 6:36. We'll have a conversation about where you're going with your paper, what your think time look like, and then our class will be over. Questions for me? Okay. We'll come back at 6:36.